The main purpose of Conservator is to create datasets for either training or validating neural networks. A dataset is a collection of annotated image frames. This tutorial describes how to create an empty dataset and assign various properties to it. All categories of users, except restricted users, have the ability to create datasets. You can create a dataset outside of any project or folder. Notice that the New Dataset button is available when viewing datasets outside of any project. However, the more typical case is to navigate to a folder or to the top level of a project that will contain the dataset. Then click on New Dataset. Name the dataset. The name must not contain slashes, backslashes, and periods. In addition, it is best to avoid spaces and other punctuation, otherwise it becomes difficult to work with the dataset outside Conservator, such as with the Conservator CLI command line interface. Underscores and dashes are okay. A popular naming convention for datasets is shown here. The name might include the project name, or some other descriptive name. The spectrum field is self-explanatory. The IMG versus VID choice indicates the dominant type of image data, either single images or segments of videos. The last part of the name indicates what the dataset is for: training, validation, or both, in which case the intent is to split the dataset later. An example would be vehicle underscore thermal underscore vid underscore val. Another way to create a dataset is to make a fully independent copy of an existing dataset. Highlight or open the dataset, then click on Create Copy in the Actions pane. Type a name for the new dataset and click on Submit. You'll see a message saying that dataset copying has been queued, since this could be a time-consuming process for a large dataset. The copied dataset is not a member of any project. You'll find it under the Uncategorized Datasets list in the menu pane. To move it into a project, select it and click Add to Project in the Actions pane. Start typing the name of the project and possibly the folder until the list of choices is short enough to allow you easily to select the target project and folder. Once you've selected the target folder, click Accept. Let's visit the target folder to verify that the new dataset is present. We see that it is. Since we don't intend to keep this copy, we use the menu on the thumbnail and select Remove from Project. Incidentally, the dataset remains in the Uncategorized Datasets list. To remove it completely, we need to visit it there and select the Delete action. You can move a dataset to a project or a folder by dragging and dropping the thumbnail to a location in the menu pane. First, visit the folder containing the dataset you want to move, and use the grid view. Then, expand the destination project in the menu pane, as necessary, to show the destination folder. Finally, drag the thumbnail of the dataset to the destination folder. Another way to create a dataset is from the Segment tool applied to a video. We'll show this method in another tutorial. The same dataset can be shared among several projects. By using the Add to Project button, you can specify another project containing this dataset. If you do this, changes to the dataset apply to the dataset in all projects that contain it. Regarding visibility, only users and groups with read permission can find and view this dataset. Users and groups with write permission can modify it, for example by adding or deleting frames, editing details, or even deleting it. When you create a new dataset, only you and the administrators can read from it or write to it. However, the dataset also inherits the visibility settings of any folders or projects to which it belongs. In addition, you can grant permissions to others via the Share button. When you click on Share, the Sharing Permissions dialog pops up, allowing you to name groups or individuals and to specify the kinds of permission they should have. Here, we give read permission to all members of the group, FLIR annotators. Click on the Save button. Clicking on Share again allows us to verify that the change has taken effect. A dataset has various properties, all preserved in its associated metadata. To edit these properties, click on Edit Details, either in the Actions pane or in the dataset's thumbnail, which has a drop-down menu. You can now edit the name, tags, description, and default label set. A label set identifies the labels that can be used in annotations. As described elsewhere, you can create and modify label sets. Here, we merely select a label set that has already been created. Another way to display and edit metadata is to click on the Open All Details page. This not only shows both the Edit Details information and the Share information, but also provides a way to add or delete custom metadata, such as a new key-value pair. You can also copy a section of metadata to the clipboard. Custom metadata is sometimes created externally to Conservator, in which case it is not meant to be edited. On the other hand, there are situations in which you might want to edit custom metadata. For example, you could give the name of an RGB dataset matching this thermal dataset. To add this new key-value pair, click on the plus sign, then type the key. After that, click on the Edit icon to edit the value. At the bottom of the Actions pane is the Notes field. This is a free format description. For example, you might use this field to describe the status of the dataset, or a link to a project management tool such as Jira or Trello. Finally, you can upload associated files to be stored and versioned with the dataset. These files can be in any format. Use the Upload button, select Associated File, and click Add File. This collection of files is sometimes called the file locker. You can add more than one file at a time. When ready, click Upload. This concludes our description of how to set up a dataset. Other tutorials describe how to add frames to a dataset and how to analyze and export datasets.